All right, everybody, just uploaded the most recent shed hunt video to our YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen it already, get over and check that out. Had a lot of success yesterday, not just because we found antlers, but we had some really good intel. So from that intel, I really, sparked the interest to talk about a little bit of product review and the importance of that trail cams play in our success every single year. So in today's technological age, we have advancements that allow us intel that we didn't have, 20 and 30 years ago. And I love taking advantage of it. But at the same time, guys, this stuff ain't cheap. I have game cameras that range from $50 a piece all the way up to $450 a piece. And so with that being said, I want to get the most life and the most ROI, the return of investment, out of the money I'm spending for the intel I'm trying to get. So first and foremost, we look at how do we, positively impact the life of a trail camera? Well, I look at it as how do I mount it? Because as we all know, trail cams come with a strap. Strap that to a tree, you're good to go, right? I think wrong. If you put this trail camera directly on a tree, you're inviting bugs to just come and get in that trail camera. Have you ever had a trail camera out for a month, come back, move that strap, and it is just covered in spiders, spider webs, centipedes, all kinds of stuff get in there. If they're getting in that strap, they're also getting in this, because the more surface to area contact you give that bug to, basically, it's an invitation to come in and get inside this camera. Two things that kill the life of a trail camera more than anything is water and bugs. You get bugs in here, they're going to get all in the internal workings, and the next thing you know, this isn't working right, and you just wasted 200 bucks. So I prefer using a mount. So I've used a mount like this for several years, and it's done a good job, but not a great job. The reason why is, well, I'll just let you see for yourself. Have you ever come back to a mount setup and it's doing that? Because a squirrel, a raccoon, a possum, something climbed up there and shifted your camera. So as great as this is, as you can see, it's a pretty tight working space. And these nuts loosen up over time. Matter of fact, I just tightened that down this morning before I brought it with me. And as you can see, it's already pretty loose. I mean, you get a squirrel on there and it's perched up on your camera and it's already tilted a little bit. Man, that thing's going over, as you just seen. So the worst thing you can do is have a mount set out or a camera set out. You brought, 100 pounds of corn, a Big and J block, a trophy rock, whatever that attractant was that you're trying to utilize to help gather intel on the bucks that are in your area. You let it run for a month. You come back all excited to get that intel, just to find your cameras pointed at the ground for the entire month. Not only that, but this type of mount, I mean, it's kind of heavy. You add a camera to that, full of batteries, everything else, you got some weight there. So you need a strong, sturdy, tree to mount this into. And every set's not going to give you the perfect tree, the perfect opportunity. So what the answer for that for me is one of these. Freestanding camera mount. Great idea. But it also has the same type of fixture on the top, right? One thing I figured out is if you put a freestanding anything in the woods, the deer are naturally curious. They're going to come over and check this out. It takes one deer to come over and lean over at, and next thing you know, your shot placement or where you thought your camera was going, wherever that attractant or whatever you're trying to get on camera, now you're getting pictures of the birds. So this serves its purpose, but it also has its flaws. So this has been something that we have fought for the past several years. We've got a lot of money tied up. At any given time, I'm running at least 25 cameras on multiple properties, and some of those cameras will run for months on end without being checked. Again, nothing worse than showing up and that camera is now facing in a different direction, turned, flipped, whatever, and you're not getting any intel on the bucks that you thought you were going to have intel on. So I was at the Field & Stream Fishing and Hunting Expo in Louisville, Kentucky here about close to 3 months ago now. And I walked past a vendor and it said Ultimate Camera Mounts. Well, of course, that intrigued me right away because this is something I constantly am fighting. I watched the presentation by the owner and man, he had me hooked. I wanted to try it for myself. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this mount in depth, but first I want to show you some videos of how it's worked for us here over the past couple months. Check these out. All right, so as you can see, I got that thing on there, and I mean, it is going nowhere. It is locked in place. So got the Stealth Cam, like I said, date, time, everything's correct, brand new batteries. So it's kind of hard to do this when it's raining out. But I don't know if y'all remember a couple of segments ago, I talked about these Ultimate Camera Mounts. And man, I don't know, it's probably been close to a month, if not over a month, that I put that camera right there. And it has not moved at all. And I've literally got video from that camera shooting back on this one with raccoons coming down this tree and basically perching on top of that camera, and yet it's still facing the exact same place that I put it. So I don't know about you guys. Now these cameras out here I check quite often. I mean, they might go a couple weeks in between being checked year round, but I have other cameras out that I might not check for months on end. I've got some right now that I probably won't check for 6 months, right? There's nothing worse than going and checking a set of cameras thinking that you're gonna have great intel just to show up and the camera is facing down from a squirrel, a raccoon, a possum. Something got on that camera and shifted that mount. That, or using straps that rot and everything else, get bugs all in them, and you're having to try to use a stick or something to wedge them in to get the right angle, and they're just not secure. This thing, look at this, guys. I hope you can see that. That is all my weight laying back on that mount, and it's not going anywhere. It's just a great innovation of a product, and I don't have to worry about the money that I've spent on batteries, SD cards, feed, other type of attractants, that just went to waste with no intel because that camera was sitting there facing the ground the entire time from a squirrel or something else knocking it down. You're not moving that. So check them out. I'll put their information in the description below. Great company, great owner. Got to meet him at the Hunting and Fishing Expo in Louisville a couple months back. So, you know, I mean, just, it's a great product. Check them out. So as you just seen, one, I want to point out that these things are light, right? They're little. I can put 10 or 15 of these in my pack and never even know they're in there. You don't need any tools to use this proficiently. It's got a wing nut. I want to get that angle right before the angle I want to be at. So if I want to come out here, I want to tighten a wing nut right there, right? I'm going to tighten it down. That wing nut needs to be facing to my left or to the right of the product. Then all I'm going to do is put a little pressure down and lock that in place. And as the pressure goes down, it actually tightens that nut even tighter. Guys, that's not moving, right? As you just seen, I've come back after a month, 2 months of this being sitting in place in the woods, and it's sitting in the exact same position it was when I left it. Now, you go and collect your camera, it's time to move it, you want to move it to a different location, different setup, whatever. I no longer need to have a tool to change the direction of how this is set. Look, one hand, I click that back, the wing nut is now loose, and I'm free to move this in any direction, any way I want. The other thing, because it's so light and so small and compact, I can put this on much smaller tree branches and things of that nature. Now, a lot of times I don't have, a tree to mount this to, but I want to get intel on a heavily used corridor or a path. I simply can find a fallen tree on that path, screw that in, mount it to it, and it is there to stay. And I'm going to get the intel that I'm looking for, and I'm going to maximize the money that I'm spending on attractants, on my cameras, on my batteries, and everything else, all wrapped up in a small, compact, $15 package. Guys, I just got 2 more in the mail yesterday. I'm ordering the heck out of them. I promise you this, Deer 30 is going to be running in excess of 25 to 30 cameras throughout 2019, and every single camera will have an Ultimate camera mount attached to it. So get out there, check them out. All their contact information is in the comments below. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. But guys, this is probably one of the most innovative things that work that I've seen come into the hunting industry in a long time. Get out there and check them out for yourself.